They say getting older means slowing down, but no one tells you it starts with your manhood. If you've noticed fewer morning erections or moments of closeness that feel incomplete, the truth is hard to ignore. It's not just in your head, it's in your blood, and the blockage may start in the smallest vessels, right where you need blood flow the most. I'm Dr. James. For over 3 decades, I've helped men reclaim their confidence, energy, and intimate lives without pills, surgery, or shame. And today I'm sharing something that changed the lives of many of my patients. Most men believe declining intimacy is just part of aging, but in certain parts of the world, men in their 70s still enjoy strong, vibrant sex lives, thanks to something as simple as 4 specific types of nuts. These everyday foods help restore blood flow, support natural arousal, and unclog the very arteries responsible for erections. I'll walk you through each one and explain how just a handful a day could bring back something you thought was gone for good. And don't miss what I share near the end, because one of these nuts mimics the exact same pathway as prescription medication, but naturally. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and turn on the bell. That way you won't miss more real, down-to-earth health advice made specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can serve you better. After age 60, one of the most overlooked causes of fatigue, low energy, and declining intimacy is something men rarely think about: circulation. The truth is, your blood flow determines almost everything when it comes to how you feel, move, and connect. It's not just about your heart pumping blood, it's about whether that blood can actually reach the areas that need it most, including the brain, the muscles, and yes, the penis. As we age, the blood vessels that used to be flexible and responsive begin to stiffen. Tiny arteries narrow. And the first place this usually shows up isn't in the chest, it's in the bedroom. That's because the arteries in the penis are some of the smallest in the body. When they clog up even slightly, blood flow becomes restricted, erections become weaker, sensation fades, and intimacy starts to feel like a memory instead of a shared experience. What makes matters worse is that many men blame themselves. They think it's a lack of desire, or age, or something they did wrong, but in reality, it often comes down to circulation, something you can improve naturally and without harsh medications. Healthy blood flow not only restores physical function, it reignites confidence. It improves mood, brain clarity, and the ability to stay active and independent. And the good news is there are simple foods that support this process. Foods that work with your body to heal and reopen those crucial pathways. In fact, there's one everyday nut that has been shown to improve blood vessel function, boost nitric oxide, and support sexual performance, all while helping your heart. And the best part? It tastes great, is easy to find, and can make a real difference within weeks. So let's start with what I call the blood flow king and why it may be the most important thing you add to your routine this year. After age 60, one of the most overlooked causes of fatigue, low energy, and declining intimacy is something men rarely think about: circulation. The truth is, your blood flow determines almost everything when it comes to how you feel, move, and connect. It's not just about your heart pumping blood. It's about whether that blood can actually reach the areas that need it most, including the brain, the muscles, and yes, the penis. As we age, the blood vessels that used to be flexible and responsive begin to stiffen. Tiny arteries narrow. And the first place this usually shows up isn't in the chest, it's in the bedroom. That's because the arteries in the penis are some of the smallest in the body. When they clog up even slightly, blood flow becomes restricted. Erections become weaker. Sensation fades, and intimacy starts to feel like a memory instead of a shared experience. What makes matters worse is that many men blame themselves. They think it's a lack of desire, or age, or something they did wrong. But in reality, it often comes down to circulation, something you can improve naturally and without harsh medications. Healthy blood flow not only restores physical function, it reignites confidence. It improves mood, brain clarity, and the ability to stay active and independent. And the good news is there are simple foods that support this process. Foods that work with your body to heal and reopen those crucial pathways. In fact, there's one everyday nut that has been shown to improve blood vessel function, boost nitric oxide, and support sexual performance, all while helping your heart. And the best part? It tastes great, is easy to find, and can make a real difference within weeks. So let's start with what I call the blood flow king and why it may be the most important thing you add to your routine this year. 1. Walnuts, the blood flow king. I still remember one of my patients, Robert, a 67-year-old retired teacher who came to see me with tears in his eyes. Doc, he said, it's not just about sex, it's about feeling like a man again. His voice shook, not from embarrassment, but from the quiet pain of feeling disconnected from his wife and from himself. What Robert didn't know at the time was that his struggles had less to do with aging and more to do with circulation. And that's exactly where walnuts come in. Walnuts are more than just a snack. They're one of the most powerful foods for restoring blood flow, especially in the smallest, most delicate vessels. These are the vessels that supply the penis, and they're often the first to become clogged by years of slow arterial damage. What makes walnuts so effective is their high content of L-arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide acts like a natural relaxant for blood vessels, allowing them to open wider and let blood flow freely where it's needed most. But there's more. Walnuts are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants, which reduce inflammation in the arterial walls. When you combine the nitric oxide boost with the anti-inflammatory power of these nutrients, you're not just helping your heart, you're directly supporting stronger, healthier erections. For men like Robert, just a small handful a day help bring back a sense of control, of connection, of hope. This isn't theory. It's been studied, proven, and lived by real men who took a simple step toward reclaiming their health. And the best part? There's nothing exotic or hard to find about them. Just a few walnuts a day, consistently, can make all the difference. Now, if walnuts are the king of blood flow, then the next nut might just be the secret weapon of the bedroom. In fact, one clinical study showed measurable improvement in sexual satisfaction in just 3 weeks. Let's take a closer look. If you're still here and this is resonating with you, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments so I know you're still with me. Now let's keep going and take a closer look at point number 2. 2. Pistachios, the bedroom booster. A few years ago, I spoke with a man named Gerald, 72 years old, who told me something that stuck with me. He said I didn't mind the gray hair or the slower mornings, but what hit me hardest was the silence in the bedroom. That quiet wasn't from lack of love, it was from lack of confidence. Like many men his age, Gerald assumed it was just age catching up, but when we looked deeper, we found the real culprit: restricted blood flow to the area that matters most. Pistachios, as surprising as it sounds, can help reverse that problem. They contain a unique combination of nutrients, especially arginine, healthy fats, and antioxidants that directly support vascular health and increase nitric oxide levels in the blood. And as I've said before, nitric oxide is the key to relaxing and widening blood vessels, especially in the penis, where even slight blockages can mean the difference between intimacy and frustration. But what's most compelling about pistachios isn't just the science, it's the lived results. In one clinical study, men who ate pistachios daily for just 3 weeks reported stronger erections, improved satisfaction, and greater confidence. When I shared that study with Gerald, he decided to try it himself. He added a small handful of unsalted pistachios to his daily routine. Within a month, he came back with a smile and a quiet sense of relief. "It's not perfect," he said, "but it's back, and that means everything." What makes pistachios so special is how gently and naturally they work to clear the microvessels that support erectile function. They're not a quick fix. They're better. They help your body heal itself from the inside out. And while pistachios help open the pathways, the next nut plays a deeper role, one that supports your hormones and protects the arteries from even further damage. If circulation is the engine, this next one fuels the system behind it all. Let's explore. 3. Almonds, the hormone helper. I remember a quiet moment during a follow-up appointment with a man named Thomas, 68 years old. He leaned in and said, almost whispering, "Doc, it's not just about getting an erection, it's about feeling alive again." That moment stuck with me because beneath his words was something deeper, a desire to feel whole, strong, and connected to the man he used to be. And for Thomas, like so many others, that journey back started with something as simple as a handful of almonds. Almonds are often overlooked, seen as just a healthy snack. But beneath that simple shell is a powerhouse of nutrients that support blood vessel health, hormone balance, and overall vitality. What makes almonds unique is their high content of magnesium and vitamin E, two nutrients that play a key role in testosterone production, inflammation control, and vascular repair. And when it comes to erections, all of that matters. Testosterone fuels desire, but it also works with nitric oxide to keep blood vessels functioning properly. Almonds support that balance, while their healthy fats help lower bad cholesterol and keep arterial walls flexible. That's critical because the arteries in the penis are tiny, far smaller than the ones in your heart. Even the smallest amount of plaque buildup can restrict blood flow, weakening erections and chipping away at confidence. Almonds help counter that, gently reducing blockages and supporting long-term vascular health. When Thomas began incorporating almonds into his daily routine, just a small handful in the afternoon, he didn't expect a miracle. But what he noticed over time was a quiet shift, more energy, warmer hands and feet, and eventually firmer responses when it mattered most. "I feel like my body's working again," he told me, eyes brighter. That's the power of natural healing. No rush, no side effects, just steady improvement from the inside out. Now, while almonds do the groundwork to balance hormones and heal blood vessels, the next nut delivers something most men are missing entirely, and it only takes one a day. You'll want to hear this. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, drop a number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. Now let's keep moving forward with point number 4. 4. Brazil nuts, the circulation secret weapon. One of the most surprising conversations I ever had in my clinic was with a soft-spoken gentleman named Marvin, 74 years old. He said, "Dr. Carter, I'm not chasing youth. I just want to feel like a man who can still show up for his wife." It was a humble request, but one that speaks to something deeply human, the need to feel capable, present, and whole. And for Marvin, the change started with one single nut, eaten once a day. Brazil nuts might not get as much attention as other nuts, but they should. They're one of the richest natural sources of selenium, a trace mineral that most men, especially older men, are unknowingly deficient in. What does that matter? Well, selenium plays a crucial role in testosterone production, antioxidant defense, and blood vessel flexibility. When selenium levels are low, inflammation rises, blood vessels stiffen, and microcirculation, especially in areas like the penis, begins to suffer. Even mild selenium deficiency can contribute to poor blood flow, erectile issues, and hormonal imbalances. But the good news is that the fix is simple. Just one Brazil nut a day provides your full daily dose, and that's often enough to start clearing up minor blockages, restore vascular elasticity, and enhance the natural healing process in those tiny but essential blood vessels. When Marvin added Brazil nuts to his daily routine, he wasn't expecting much. But a few weeks later, he described feeling more awake, more connected, and more himself again. The change wasn't loud or dramatic. It was subtle, steady, and meaningful. Brazil nuts don't just support circulation. They help unlock the body's natural ability to recover, recalibrate, and return to form. And sometimes that one small shift is all it takes to create real, lasting change. Now, if you're wondering how all four of these nuts work together inside your body, or if you've ever asked yourself, is it too late for me? Then what comes next may be the most important part of this message. Let's dive in. 5. The truth about healing blood flow after 60. By now, you've seen how these four simple nuts can each play a role in restoring blood flow, supporting hormones, and helping you feel more like yourself again. But let's take a step back and look at how they actually work together inside your body, and why this matters on a level far beyond intimacy. When we talk about clogged blood vessels, we're not just talking about the big arteries around the heart. We're also talking about the smallest vessels, especially those in the penis that are often the first to narrow, harden, or become inflamed. What makes these four nuts so powerful is how they each tackle a different part of that problem. One boosts nitric oxide to open up the vessels, another lowers inflammation to reduce buildup. One supports testosterone production to keep blood flow strong, and one helps repair vessel walls and protect them from future damage. Over time, this creates a compound effect: less restriction, more circulation, and a stronger response where it matters. And yes, that can lead to firmer erections, but it also leads to more energy, better sleep, clearer thinking, and a deeper sense of confidence. Because truthfully, this isn't just about sex. It's about feeling connected to your body, your partner, and your life again. Now I know what some men are thinking. Is it too late for me? I've heard that question more times than I can count, but my answer is always the same. If you're still breathing, it's never too late. I've watched men in their 60s to 70s, even 80s take small, steady steps and see real change. The body has an amazing ability to heal if you give it the right tools. And that brings us to the next step. Because knowing what helps is one thing, but knowing exactly how to start and what to do each day is what makes the difference. And remember that one nut I mentioned earlier, the one that mimics the effects of a little blue pill? We're going to talk about that too. Let's keep going. 6. Your daily plan to reclaim circulation, confidence, and connection. The beauty of everything we've talked about is how simple it is to put into action. No complicated diets, no expensive supplements, just 4 natural foods you can find in almost any grocery store, and a few minutes of consistency each day. Here's what I've recommended to hundreds of my older male patients. Start your morning or afternoon with a small, purposeful handful of nuts. Specifically, 4 to 5 walnuts for blood vessel dilation and nitric oxide. A small handful of unsalted pistachios for improved erection quality and satisfaction. 6 to 8 almonds to support testosterone, lower inflammation, and protect the arteries. And just 1 Brazil nut, that's right, 1, to restore selenium levels, boost circulation, and support hormone production. This combination works because it addresses the real cause of declining intimacy, poor blood flow, and vessel health. It's not magic, it's simply giving your body the nutrients it's been missing in the way nature intended. Now let's circle back to that one nut I mentioned earlier, the one that mimics the effects of certain prescription medications. That nut is the walnut. What makes it special is its ability to stimulate nitric oxide, which is the same pathway activated by popular ED drugs, but without the side effects or synthetic chemicals. It's gentle, safe, ambient, and incredibly effective when paired with the other nuts we've discussed. The men who stick to this simple plan often tell me they don't just feel better in the bedroom, they feel better in life. More energy, more warmth, more presence, and often more connection with the person they love. So if you've been feeling discouraged, disconnected, or unsure where to start, this is it. Just 4 humble nuts a day. Small steps, big change. If this message helped you or someone you care about, give it a like, share it with a friend, and drop a comment below. I read every one, and your story might be the next one that inspires someone else to take that first step.